Everybody, this is Bernard Hamilton, and welcome to Words to Live By. This is going to be the first installment of what I'm going to be doing for quite some time to help you get on track to where you need to be. One of the biggest problems that I see with people who are trying to get jobs or are trying to get their finances and emotional and spiritual things in order is that they really don't know what they want. They don't have an idea as far as their purpose or their calling in life. They're just going through the motions. And what we want to do today is address the whole issue of your gifts and what you really want to accomplish with your life, as opposed to just wanting somebody to give you a job or to help you do this and help you do that without really thinking through what it is you want to do when it comes to your desires and your calling on your life. We look at Matthew chapter 7, verse 7, Jesus said that ask and it will be given to you, seek and you shall find, knock and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds. Well, the biggest issue here is that most people aren't asking. They don't even know what their gifts are. They're just basically looking for a job so they can pay their bills and go through life miserable, which is not what God wants you to do. And so overall, what I want to do is address the whole issue of using your gifts to do certain things. And one of the things that we look at in Genesis chapter 1, verse 22, is that God says that he wants us to be fruitful, he wants us to multiply, he wants us to replenish, and he wants us to subdue the earth. And this is an area that many of us have fallen short of. It was the personal development guru by the name of Earl Nightingale a number of years ago who says that the biggest problem that exists with most people today is that they don't think. You don't realize that your greatest resource is your mind, not somebody telling you what to do, but asking God to give you the wisdom to utilize and do the things that you've been called to do, that you desire to do. And so when you look at that passage in Genesis chapter 1, verse 28, where he talks about being fruitful, he's talking about being fruitful and make sure that you bring in bring in people, bring in your children to do and accomplish things that you want to do. But when you deal with being fruitful, he's also talking about being productive. God wants you to live a productive life. When it comes to multiplying, he wants you to increase. He wants you to reproduce whatever it is that you're doing with the people that you're bringing into your business or whatever it is you're doing. He wants you to replenish, means that he wants you to fill. He wants you to make sure that you're not just doing the job, but you're doing it well. And that's why he says when you talk about subdue, he wants you to control whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. Because if you're trying to do things based on what somebody gives you, or you're based on the fact that, well, I lost my job, I'm 40-some years old, I guess I'll go back to school and get an MBA, and you still can't get a job because you're basing it on the fact that you're waiting for somebody else to give you something that God says you have in the power and the control of yourself to do if you'll just allow yourself the overall idea of coming up with a plan that possibly can work for you if in fact you truly believe and ask that God will help you get that particular plan. And that's the issue that we want to address in this particular time that we're here. So when you look at it, when it's talk about using your gifts, you want to use your gifts to be fruitful. You want to be productive. You want to be able to reproduce that. You want to be able to distribute it, and you want to be able to control it. But you have to decide yourself what it is you want to accomplish. Then from there, you've got to ask yourself some questions. There's 4 questions I want you to consider. And that is, you have to decide what you want. Not what you're going to settle for, but what you want. Number 2, you want to believe that you can have it. If you don't think you can have it, I don't care what you want, what you desire, it's not going to come to truth. It's not going to come to fruition because you don't believe that God is going to bless you with that particular thing that you want. And so overall, when it comes to your goals, with the goals, you've got to come up with some steps, some action plans in order to allow those goals to come to fruition. You want to be fruitful, you want to be productive, then put some action plans towards the goals that you want to accomplish. Number 3, you want to believe that you deserve it. If you don't believe that you deserve it, you feel that you're not this, or you've listened to so many people who says you're not going to amount to anything. Guess what? You're not going to amount to anything. And number 4, you've got to believe that it's possible for you. You got to know that, because Christ says that all things are possible to him who believe. If you don't believe that it's possible, it's not going to happen. In James chapter 1, he says, let no man or anybody think that he will receive anything from the Lord if he's double-minded in all of his ways. You've got to make sure that you've got your mind straight in order for you to do the things that you know or you believe that you're able to do and it's in your control to do, as opposed to waiting for somebody outside of that to review your resume or to help you get this or to help you get that. God is ready, able, and willing to help you if you will believe that he's able to help you and you have the skill and the gifts and the talents to be fruitful in doing those things that you need to do in order to multiply and replenish the earth in the way that God wants you to accomplish those things. So once you've done those things, what you want to do is you want to expect that there's going to happen. If you believe that God is God and he's able to do what only he can do, then you also have to expect that it's in his power to attract those things and the scenarios for you to allow those to be accomplished. Number two, you want to expect the things you want and don't want out of the scenario, so that as you go through whatever you're going through, you can allow God to do what he's doing as you're working through your process and working through the various things that you need to work through. One of the things that I've discovered with my wife and I is that I know my gifts, she knows her gifts, she knows her strength, and I know my strengths. So with that, if we complement each other, trying to accomplish things that we're doing, knowing that God is going to allow certain things to take place that's in his control, not in our control, but we're able to control what we can control. What we've discovered is God begins to open up doors and opportunities for both of us as we seek to accomplish what God has called on our lives to accomplish. And you've got to do the same thing. You cannot sit back, especially if you're over 40, 45, and 50, to wait on somebody to help you when God has it in his power to help you if you will put together a plan that'll work for you. So having all said that, we're going to stop there. In the meantime, what I want you to do is that as you go through my website, I want you to look at some of the books that I think that can help you and accomplish some of the things that you want to accomplish. And it's not that difficult. Just look at the books down below that you have an opportunity to check out and begin to read. One of the things that we've discovered in our lives is that leaders are readers. You've got to learn to read and not just depend on some guy telling you what to do like me. You want to check it out, confirm it, read books, get down and dirty with things that will help you better yourself along the way. And with that, what we'll do is I'll stop there. But as always, what I want you to discover is go through, look at these things, check them out for yourself, and put together a plan for yourself. Make sure that you begin to write down notes, write all these things down, and begin to review them, set goals for yourself, put some action plans together so that those things can work for you. What's in your control, and allow God to open up the other opportunities that's in his control. Okay? We're going to stop there. Again, check out our website. Check it out. See what you think. If you have any questions, give us an email. If you want to be added to our Words to Live By email list so that we can send out those particular emails to you. They'll go out on Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday. Feel free to let us know with your email address, and we'll add you to the list. So it's been great talking to you this Sunday. And as always, walk with the King and be a blessing.